Messy is a word I would use to describe the traitors right now. No, I'm not talking about the show as a whole, but the actual traitors that are in the turret. When it was just Bob the drag queen, Carolyn, and Danielle, I thought it wasn't going to be a smooth ride. Throw in Rob and the tension was there to see. Now that Bob the drag queen has been banished at the hands of Rob, understandably there's a lot of mistrust happening in the turret. I don't see much change with the dynamics between them. It's still one person trying to call all the shots. Bob the drag queen had his time, Danielle tried to have hers, and now it's Rob. When will it be Carolyn's turn? Does she even want to go? I do wonder how much Carolyn is actually speaking up in the turret, or if it's the edit. We might not see Carolyn have her voice heard amongst the other traitors, but we're getting a lot out of her in commentary. So once again, the traitors have murdered another housewife. 3 out of 4 have now perished, Jeremy being the only non-housewife to be murdered so far. It's getting kind of boring with these picks. Robin was their chosen victim, once suspected, but not anymore. I believe the traitors constantly going after the housewives really killed the whole theory of one of the housewives being a traitor. Seeing as Dylan heavily suspected Robin at one point, I wondered how much he would recalibrate his thinking about who the other traitors could be. Then, when Dylan whispered to Danielle, I wondered if Dylan's observation about Carolyn was him sensing she's a traitor, or was he just making a general observation. For me, getting rid of Robin wouldn't cause that much chaos, and it removed someone that did have some suspicion on them. I would have gone for either Gabby or Chriselle from the Bambi's group, or someone who is more on the quiet side, like Sam. Tom was saying that if Nikki isn't a traitor, then she's a bad faithful. I'm trying to think in what way she is a bad faithful that we're not seeing. Is she throwing every name out there under the sun? Is she doing absolutely nothing to help find traitors? I really don't understand Danielle's gameplay right now. Rob is a problem for her, but she wants to throw Carolyn under the bus to recruit so she could have a traitor she can trust to help get rid of Rob. 1. Why would Rob agree to recruit if it came to that? Also, who says who Danielle wants is someone that would want to work with her as traitors together? Now in the mission is where I was completely perplexed by Danielle and what I would call messy gameplay. Instead of putting her own portrait up for the shield, Danielle puts Dolores's instead because she doesn't want any more housewives to go. In Danielle's head, this unselfish move makes her look faithful, while in my head it makes her look like she's not worried about being murdered because the traitors can't be murdered. It's a far cry from her plan of practically begging Derek for a shield in episode 2 because she was so afraid of being murdered. I thought Danielle would take Tom's portrait off, but surprisingly to me and to both Derek and Tom, she took Derek's. The questionable decisions didn't stop there because she had another chance to put her portrait up, but instead she picked up Derek's picture and swapped it with Chriselle's. Dolores even asked Danielle if she was afraid to get murdered. I was shaking my head and laughing at the same time. I was completely surprised that Danielle's actions didn't result in further scrutiny. Are the faithfuls filing it for later or just ignoring one of the biggest clues that has landed in their lap? Danielle's game was all over the place. Is this a Big Brother US thing because she's not the first to look messy in this game? In the end, it was Sierra and Dolores that won the shield. Now Danielle's put Carolyn's name out there and she's spreading it about. There was absolutely no subtlety to this. I don't know what Carolyn was like in Survivor, but some faithfuls seem to think Carolyn couldn't handle the role of being a traitor, so this was looking like more of an uphill battle for Danielle. I was really surprised Ivar started the roundtable. Who zapped some life into him at the roundtable? Sometimes I forget he's even there. In general, Ivar's not getting shown a lot in the edit. I feel like he's previously only talked at the roundtable when being challenged. In another surprise, even Sam piped up, putting the microscope on Rob. All episode, Rob was worried about the fallout of going after Bob the drag queen, leading to Bob's banishment. While it was a topic both outside of the roundtable and during, any thought of a vote for Rob seemed to be postponed. Even though it was a success, I still don't think maneuvering to have Bob the drag queen banished was a good move this early on, but this was about power. Regardless of anyone's knowledge of Rob's gameplay and history, at the present moment it seems many are keen to work with him rather than against him. I kept wondering if it had even crossed any of the faithfuls' mind that neither Sierra or Nikki are traitors, and that them being in the coffin was a distraction, that even when Rob said it in the previous roundtable that it was a distraction, no one took it in. When Dylan voted and said he thought Sierra and Nikki were both faithful, I was wondering why we didn't hear or see that during the discussions. Were we once again deprived because of the edit, or was Dylan just being silent? When Chrishell was talking, I kept shouting at the TV saying, is Chrishell really breaking up the Bambis over an energy shift? I know there can be energy shifts by actual traitors, but that was supposed to be one of your peeps. I would have needed a little something more to do that in the game, though I'm not sure if I actually would. Plus maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to keep a traitor on your side for a little bit. It's the second time Chrishell has done something that she initially said she wasn't going to do. This episode it was about speaking up about her suspicion of Nikki. The previous episode it was about voting for Bob the drag queen, which she did say she couldn't do but would consider it, and then actually did vote for him. I remember when Gabby said she wasn't ready to say goodbye to Nikki if Nikki was a traitor. Well, I guess Gabby was ready because like Chrishell, Gabby was amongst the landslide of votes for Nikki. Nikki didn't have a chance. Her words before revealing her role is a lesson that not everyone acts the same or has the same reaction to things. It's something that continually counts against people like those who are neurodivergent or an introvert. Nikki can feel a little hard done by because more than one person was using her reactions or lack thereof as a reason to accuse her. Even though Nikki said her piece, I can imagine that some will totally forget that and accuse someone else later in the game with the exact same reasons. We can see how deeply tangled Dylan is with all the traitors. We know Dylan trusts Danielle and Rob, even having a bit of an alliance with Rob. He felt close enough to Carolyn to tell her that Danielle has been putting Carolyn's name out there. Dylan is too close to see the remaining traitors around him. As the previews look like there will be a lot of tension between Carolyn and Danielle, this could get even more messy. All Danielle has against Carolyn is that she made it to the final in Survivor, and Carolyn not being able to handle being a traitor is a facade, while Carolyn can bring out the receipts of the mission in this episode as a reason for why Danielle is a traitor. The question is, what is Carolyn going to do now?